Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
Yeah. Listen, success is whatever you make it. If you want to be happy, you want to provide for your family.
Live.
You gotta put that work in, man. You gotta go get
Learn.
it. See, listen, this is what I tell them.
Serve.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals.
Inspire.
I go out and I go get it.
You're in the right place. You're checking out Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles.
Conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And today we have Miss Chelsea Vaughn with us, and she is the founder of Humble Over Hype. She's a young lady from Houston by way of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And she currently works with at Missouri, University of Missouri, helps with football recruiting there. And so doing some amazing things with her platform, impacting many lives in a positive way. And we've been trying to get this interview for a while, and we finally got it.
Yeah.
So, we're here.
So excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So let's start off. Talk to us about your life story.
So we'll start. I guess I could just start when I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, up until the age of 10 years old. Hurricane Katrina hit, and we evacuated to Houston, and I've been in Houston ever since I was 10. And that's crazy because, it's I'm 23 now, so I'm like, it's like 13 years ago. Mom and dad were married. They recently divorced. I grew up. My father, in a lot of my videos, what I talk about, my father was an alcoholic growing up. So a lot of my relationship with Christ started and rooted in that. And my mom, she's like my rock. Like, she's the reason why I am who I am. I truly believe that. And I have a younger brother who is younger than me, but very much so taller. He's very tall. We're tall kids. And my life story is just, I didn't grow up with a whole bunch of money or resources or anything like that, but I had a desire and a heart for Christ at a very young age. So I've been telling my parents that I was going to be like T.D. Jakes, Tyler Perry, and Oprah in one since I was younger. They've always known I was going to be something great because I talk a lot, and people that talk a lot usually, although they say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen more than you talk.
Hey, I used that. I just used that the other day on a street.
I'm trying to work on some people that talk a lot need to learn how to listen. So I'm asking God to help me with that. But my life story, I didn't grow up with an easy, just a simple childhood where anything handed to me. I had to work for everything that I have. And I'm really glad I was raised like that because it has spilled over into my life and my work ethic and just my presence of who I am. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I went through Katrina. My dad was alcoholic growing up. We love each other. That's just something I grew up going through. But
it's part of it.
It's part of and you guys will learn more about that. Because I truly believe that if those things wouldn't have happened in my life, I would not have the relationship that I have with Christ. And to me, that's the most important thing. So whatever avenue or whatever God uses, I believe he uses our brokenness to make us who we are. So yeah, that's me. I'm goofy, crazy, outgoing, not boring, funny.
Okay.
All that
so where'd you go to high school?
A-Lee Taylor High School, Taylor Lyons, what's up? A-Lee, okay, I am a product of that Southwest.
Okay. Uh, so, you're talking about, the things that you've gone through,
Hmm.
helping you, be closer to Christ. And,
Hmm.
you know, um, I'm a firm believer in uh, using your experiences to help you
Yeah.
bless someone else,
Hmm.
and so just like you said, if you hadn't gone through those hardships,
Hmm.
now the position that you're in, you
Hmm.
wouldn't know how to help the people that you're around if you hadn't been around
Right.
involved in that.
Right.
And it's crazy how that happens, like going through it. Like you don't think, well, man, how can this be helpful? You just think, man, this is tough. But
Yeah.
then after you get through it and you
Yeah.
look back on it, like now you can tell somebody, hey, I've
Hmm.
been through that.
Hmm.
Just hang in there, just keep pushing. You
Hmm.
can get through it too. And it's good when you can do those things.
Yeah.
So, what are 3 things that you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Mm. Well, it's only been 23 years, but in the
Yeah.
past 23 years of my life, one, I finished school, which I finished college, which I probably want to drop out of college about 15 times. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've always had the vision for Humble Overhype since I was 16 years old. And so I've always known what I wanted to do in my life, but I didn't always know. Like I knew I wanted to go to college because I knew college was going to give me something different. Like I was the first person in my family. My mom's a nurse, but she went to trade school. So I was the first person in my family to go to a university and
Hmm.
graduate from college. And so college, graduating from Mizzou was like probably one of the biggest accomplishments. Like I cried like a baby that day. And everybody was like on my Instagram, I wrote this long post, inspiring post, because I remember all of the moments in my life where I wanted to give up. Like I didn't have the same amount of money as other kids. I struggled in college a lot. Like sometimes I didn't even know how to pay my bills, and I was still chasing the dream of Humble Overhype and investing in that, and like it's just a story of like survival for me. So graduating college definitely is one of my biggest accomplishments. Of course, Humble Overhype.
Hmm.
My baby is growing. It has grown a lot. Um, and I'm very proud of this, but I'm waiting until marriage. So I am a 23-year-old virgin, and I'm very like that is an accomplishment to me. I mean, I don't know if that's too much information for people, but that's something else that I'm very proud of. So that's why
No,
you can edit that out if you need to. But
no, 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 no,
oh,
no,
okay, because
no,
I'm proud of that. Like that's an accomplishment for
no,
me. So
no. That's real, and I think that's an amazing thing.
thank you. I thought I
You
was like,
know,
should I say this or not?
no, no, no. I mean, that's one thing. On the Success Chronicles, I mean, it's
Okay.
real talk. So
Not weird, I promise. But a
so
lot of young girls, they don't hear people say that anymore. Like people don't
right.
hear that anymore. So that's something I'm very proud of too. That
You know,
decision that I made.
and I think it's good too that you're strong enough to step up and speak about what you believe in.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people are not bold enough to do that.
Mm-mm.
And so,
Mm-mm.
even if it is that way,
Yeah.
they're not saying it,
Yeah.
or, so I commend you for that, because like you have to be a bold person in who you are, and
Hmm.
confident with who you are to be able to, hey, I'm 23 and I'm waiting, like,
I am.
bam, like,
Yeah.
you have to be confident in
Mhm.
who you are.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Humble Over Hype.
Yeah. So um oftentimes I get asked how I came up with it. And I always tell people that it was God. Like I used to make YouTube videos when I was younger, because I used to think that I don't know who I thought I was. I just always wanted to inspire people since I was younger. I would always encourage and just always been like a leader. And like in high school, they called me like the Jesus girl, whatever they wanted to call me. I didn't care. Like people, because the same people that made fun of you in high school are the same people that applaud you now. So you
Yeah,
just
they want to be you. So
yeah, so
right.
and most people get, and especially in high school, like the high school, in those times of your life, you get so caught up in what people think, and it's like it doesn't even matter from long term. Um, But when I was 16, I used to make YouTube videos. And one day I was making a YouTube video. And I remember that was around the time where I think Drake was talking about YOLO or something like that. Like he came out with this saying of like, you know, all these rappers come out with these things and then we started tweaking it and all that. I don't know. And God, I was like, y'all, Drake said YOLO, but guess what I said? Humble over hype. And like I was talking about, it came from 1 Peter 5:6, humble thyself so that one day God can exalt you. And I had seen like I previously seen like kind of some Christian brands that I saw that involved sports. And I realized, I said, man, like athletes are so powerful and impactful, but like who do they have to go to like to cultivate them as people? Like because I was a cheerleader, so I was around it all the time. And so I knew like if we want to put all this responsibility in somebody's hand, then they need somebody that's going to look out for them. Like I think oftentimes people get confused, like they think they have everything handed to them, but you can give somebody $1 million, but all it's going to do is show you who that person really is in the inside. Like it's not, you know what I mean? So people are like, oh, people change, the money change them. No, that's just who they are. Like when you know who you are, you don't let those things change you. You change those things. And so for me, I saw the need I've always had a heart for people. And I think God gave me something like that because he saw how I look past like the status, the money. Like I don't care who you are. I know a lot of people that have money and status and all these big names, but I see the person because that's who we are first. We're people first. And so when I was 16, it came about. And then probably around my sophomore year in college is when it really started to take off. And I was really I was kind of really nervous to start because I knew I didn't have the money. I knew I didn't have the resources. I knew I didn't no one for real like taught me how to run a business. Like there was just nothing out there, but I knew I had
But you
a heart.
knew you wanted to do it.
Yeah, and I did it, and I didn't care. I jumped. I describe it to often to people like it's like jumping in the deep end and just learning how to swim. And when I jumped is when it's just started to take off. And if you fast forward now, like I've been chasing this for so long, 23, like you can find it on people all across the country. And I started off with me just wearing it. I had 10 shirts I made when I was 16 years old. I'll never forget it. I spent my $200 I got from a check. And I went to go I sold, I think about 3 of them, gave away 4, and the other amount I kept. And so I'll never forget that because the logo, the 2 designs, all of that was made when I was younger. And to look at that vision be what it is today shows me that it's not about how much money you have. It's not about all of those things. It's about if God gave it to you, he will see you through it. You just got to stay true to who he is. You know what I mean? And that's the part.
Trust that he's going to take you through it.
People want instant gratification all the time. Like in this generation, like especially mine, like no one wants to work for anything anymore. They expect it to happen overnight. They want like a come up. And for me, it's like, I've gone through a journey for humble over hype. I mean, I'm talking about, I used to sell shirts out my car. You know what I mean? I was the only person wearing it at first. Like no one knew what I was trying to do. But as time has gone on, I think the genuineness in it and the people feel it every time they feel something because I didn't get this handed to me. I worked for it, and God truly has blessed and anointed it because of me as a person. You know what I mean? How I carry myself, my choices that I've made in my life. I mean, I see like God says, be obedient to him, and he does bless you. I mean, I'm a testament of it. I'm a testimony of it. So yeah.
And the church said amen.
I'm sorry if it's just so long. I talk a lot, but
no, it's all good stuff. You know, you were talking about jumping out in the deep end. Mm-hmm. And man, like I was like nodding my head because like all of that you were saying, like it's the exact same thing for me with the Success Chronicles. Mm-hmm. You know, like when I started it, like I've never taken a production class or, I've done none of this before. And so, but just like you said, it was my passion and I knew it was a gift and I couldn't sleep because I had to, I'm going to figure it out,
My life, yeah.
And so, I'm just thankful that I'm here, and able to, talk with some amazing people about their story to inspire and motivate others,
Yeah. I think too, like, a lot of times people just want success without purpose, because people want instant success because they think that in a society, I was just talking to some friends, I said, in society, we've been taught since we were younger to be competitive. So as soon as you come out the womb, you like trying to be like the best at everything, right? And so it becomes a me society, and it's not about other people. And I think the difference between success and purpose is that you can have success, but you have purpose of what you're doing with the success. And so for me, it's like, I don't care if I sell 1 million shirts one day and LeBron James is wearing humble over hype. That doesn't mean anything to me, because that means something for the kingdom of God. Yes. And I'm going to be grateful because more people will be inspired. But what I'm saying is that the moments where people ask for prayer, and I do like real talks, and like I talk to people about God all the time, and we do like real grooming of edifying of the soul, and like that stuff means something because that's purpose. And I think a lot of times people are chasing success and not purpose. And the purpose, even when you get the success, the purpose is what's going to sustain you. The purpose is what's going to fulfill you, because a lot of people oftentimes think that they're working so hard to get a lot of money one day, the dream house, the dream family, and people have that and they're still not happy. Right. And I see it. I know people with $1 million contracts. Yeah. I know, like I know people personally that have these things that everyone is chasing, but it doesn't always mean they're happy. And I think that that's an important component of what success is that you have to find a purpose. Somebody asked me the other day, and they said, well, how do I, like, asking me how to start a brand? And I'm like, okay, so what is the purpose behind the brand? What problem are you solving? Like, what is your solution to society? Because you can put a name on a shirt. That's great. But what are you going to do to society to make it better? Because that's what really matters to me. And in my opinion, that's why God put us on this earth. So, yeah.
Well, my purpose with this is to inspire and motivate and to give service and show appreciation. So at this time, if you could just tell the people where they can find your humble, overhyped stuff or contact you, because like I told you off the air, man, I believe in what you do. And I think it's such a good deal. And like, it's from a good place.
Yeah.
You know, like
true, authentic life.
Yeah.
I don't just say this, I live this, because that's important.
Yeah. Know? Like, and one of my coaches that I work with, he said this the other day, from like the great philosopher Quavo says, you walk it like you talk it. Hey, you're not just preaching it,
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you walking it like you talking it.
Okay.
And so
walk it like you talk it. You got to though. You gotta all the time. I mean that's something that's important to me too, because one thing about me is that even when people have humble over hype, I'm always very clear on, like, if somebody asks you what that is, you need to be able to tell them, like, it's not just a t-shirt, like it's something that you need to put on. Like, I describe it as like the armor of God. Like, it's something that when you put this on, you feel some sense of like purpose, and like you got to move differently. It's so funny because at Mizzou, where I work, a lot of our athletes have it, and they wear it. So sometimes it's used as an accountability tool. It's like, dude, you wearing humble over hype, but what you doing? Like, why? You're a representation of something. Yes. So it means something to them. It means something. And if people want to wear that meaning, they can go to humbleoverhype.org. That's where I sell all of my gear, humbleoverhype.org. And I also, we're on IG, and we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitter, humbleoverhype. And yeah, if you want us to come out to your school, let me know. All of that good stuff.
Hey, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, what's your definition of success? I know you touched a little bit on success, but how do you define success?
What I think true success is I think you walking into the calling and the purpose that God has for your life. I think it's that thing that you'll do for free, honestly, because it's something that you will do. You'll stay up, like you talked about, late at night, and you'll have all these visions, and it's something that you can think about even when you don't it surpasses where you are in your life. Like, that's true success to me, because it keeps you living for something. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't have everything handed to me. Like, I'm glad that I had to work for this, because when I do accomplish things, the way it feels, it's like, it's so much purpose behind feeling like that. It's not just like, oh snap, so-and-so is wearing this. Like, it's more like, dang, like, we got another one for the kingdom of God. Like, it feels like I'm doing something to make this place better, and that's what true success is. It's not, to me, it's not money. It's not the dream guy. It's not like all of these things. Those things are nice. I think those are small things that God gives us because that's what we need. But I think true success is just giving our lives to him fully and telling him, I don't care where you take this, but I'm going with you. And even when I don't understand, even when it gets hard sometimes, even like all of that, that's success to me, because to me, that's what fulfills you, not the other stuff. I truly believe that. That's not saying you can't have that other stuff, because that stuff is nice too. But
That's
I don't.
good.
My mama always told me one thing. She said, "You make a house a home, and no matter how big
Yeah.
the house is, no matter how small the house is, you make it the house the home." So I've always lived by that.
You make a house
Mm-hmm.
a home.
Yeah, that's Alicia right there, Alicia Vaughn Kerr. That's my mother.
I love that, man.
always, always taught me that. So.
That's good. What do you think it takes to achieve that type of success that you're talking about?
Not being perfect, but willing. I always tell people, we often feel like we got to get ourselves together to come to Christ, right? To live by God. Like, we have to live a certain way to come to God. And I think that God has made us all uniquely different for a purpose and a reason, because he knew that one person was going to be able to jump higher than somebody else. He knew that one person was going to be able to hold a note longer than somebody else. That he knew those things. Like, he wants us to follow our hearts and our dreams, but he just wants us at the end of the day to glorify him in that. And so I think always tell people, it's not about trying to like make your life fit God. It's about fitting God in your life. You know what I mean? Being who you are and fitting him in what you're doing, like making him a part of that, so that you can be true to who you are, but also glorifying God at the same time. Because I think a lot of people think, well, I got to be the pastor to be a holy. Like, no, you don't. You don't have to be the pastor to be holy. You could be yourself.
And be okay with that.
And God is fun, cool. Like, he's funny too. I think God has a sense of humor. I don't think living life for Christ is boring. Like, a lot of young people kill me with that sometimes. It's like, well, you don't have any fun when you live. I'm like, dude, no. Like, I can have fun. Like, I have a life outside of like, just like, the typical traditional whatever people may think it means to have a relationship with God. I think a relationship with God is different from religion. You know what I mean? I think relationship is knowing that you ain't like a parent to a child. Like, you know what I mean? They love you even when you mess up, but come back.
It don't matter what you do. I got you.
Always got you ready.
I love you. I love you. It don't matter.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
So success, to me, true success and how to get it is to first try to find yourself for Christ. I was talking to the athletes and my real talk last week, and I told them, they said, we don't, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, one of those weeks, and we were talking about, he said, we can wake up at 5 o'clock every day, but we don't invest that time in God. So he was talking about the distractions in their life that can probably alter their relationship. And they started saying, like, we can invest the time, we just don't, and I think, and we talked about investing, what you invest your time in, what you surround yourself in, is eventually who you'll be and what you'll become. And so if you lift weights, you're going to gain muscle because you're doing something to get to that goal. The same thing with Christ. And that's the thing. I put in a lot of moments behind the scenes that nobody sees to get my relationship with God. You know what I mean? It's a lot of moments where I was crying and I was on my knees and I was praying and I was trusting in Christ. And just showing God that faithfulness, man. That man is 100. Yes, he is.
Great is thy faithfulness.
Look, that's from Prophet Chelsea.
Oh
Chelsea.
man.
Okay, that's my last name, Chelsea.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time um, to interview with the Success Chronicles. Um, so I don't know, blown away, thankful for what
I
you
told you a
do.
lot. A
No,
lot.
for what you do and how you do. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, not too many people can stand up and say, "Hey, this is what I believe in. This is me, and I do it, fully, to God, and I'm not, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not ashamed of it, and that's what it is. And so I think when you're able to do those things, you impact many in a genuine way, and it's inspiring.
Well, I do thank you for the platform. I've been asked to do interviews in the past, and people told me I can't talk about God. Like they told me, like I love what you do, but I like, can we leave God out of it? And so to have a platform that allows you to be freely doing that, I think is amazing. And so anytime, even though it took like 10 years for me to get, I'm sorry, I'm not that busy, but I guess I don't know.
We made it work.
We made it work, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And I just hope that no matter what I say tonight, that people know that without God, I would not. I mean, humble over hype wouldn't be a thing. I don't even know if I would even be blessed with having it. I don't even know if God would have trusted me enough to have humble over hype. So without God, man, like stuff is impossible. But with God, it is possible. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and just like you said, that's what I know, and that's what I believe too.
Yeah.
And so
you can tell,
so
and I'm so glad you do this. I'm so glad you do this.
Well, thank you.
Send you a humble over hype shirt.
Hey, I was gonna hit you with that off the air. I was gonna say, hey,
no, we gonna put it on air so I can really come through for it. I can't look. I told the people I'm giving you one, so I really can't not come through with it. Then I'll be safe.
No, I wouldn't say nothing to you. I would be okay with doing whatever I had to do. I wrote down the website and everything, so even if it didn't come through, I'm gonna support you. How about that?
I appreciate it. Look there, black people, that's what we need to do more often, support each other. Man, let me tell you something. Sometimes people, they want the most discounts. I said, now come on, like we can't support each other. That's our problem. But anyways, it's a whole different talk. But you'd be surprised who I get the most. Yeah. I'm like,
I'm sure you see some of everything.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of things in my life. And I'm only 23 years old. So dang, I'd be thinking, I feel like I'm 50 sometimes, because I just be like, I don't know, I just have this vision, and I'm just so committed to it, and it'll happen one day.
For sure.
This is a part of history, and I'm so glad you get to be a part of my history, and I get to be a part of yours.
I'm thankful for it.
I appreciate it. But I really wanted to share, anytime I do something, I always want to be honest about things that I do, because I think that, God has put me in a position for a reason. So I use the platform to give him the glory.
Well, there it is. Well, thanks for your time. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Success Chronicles. We'll see you next time. God bless.